Hello and welcome to another episode here on the Minecraft Let's Play. We are at the end of one of my ice pots. We are very far away. I think we are wrong button, of course. I think we are, around 2000 blocks in the X coordinate and minus 1400 on the Z coordinate. And we are this far away because I'm going to tackle one farm today that we are going to make. And it's a very big and complex farm, but it's much easier than we are used to. I made a hole in the bedrock ceiling here so you guys can we can actually travel a lot easier on top of the bedrock roof, and that's why we have this. And down below we have some slime blocks so I don't fall and die and anything like that, because we can't use water in the nether. Why are we out here then? Well, because the farm I'm going to make today is of course a wither skeleton farm. We're going to need that to make withers and later on get wither stars and or nether stars, I mean. And when we get those stars we can make our both beacons, and we can also make the crystals to get everything, or not the crystals, no. We are in need of beacons. That's what we are in need of. But for that to work, this farm needs to be in either two biomes in the nether. It needs to be in, like we are, in a warped forest, or in, I think it was a soul sand valley. And then we need a pretty good location for it as well, since we can't have another biome for, I think it was around 100 blocks out in each direction. We need a very big biome, and we of course need a nether fortress where the wither skeletons can spawn inside of that biome. So it's a little bit picky on what we need, but I found it this way, and we're going to clear a bit of this out. And of course we're going to get all of the items, because I actually forgot those when I went out here, so I'm going to go back and get these things. But we're not only going to focus on a wither skeleton farm today, we are also going to go and gather up some sculk, and also both sculk blocks and sculk veins, because we need a lot of shulker boxes for those. So we're going to go over to the future me where we have built those things, and I'm going to explain those while I go and get items for this farm. Okay, so here we are in the end, but we are not going to fight any dragons today. We are not ready for that behemoth task of actually getting all of the portals down. That's going to be a future episode. But since we are here, I had to make two different things to make us use the sculk and get everything that we needed for those. So what we have here is that I decided to move everything out beside 128 blocks or something plus out from our Enderman farm, because I decided that I wanted to move them out there, since I'm going to have a design up here later on. That's the end goal of all of these farms and everything that I'm making in this small series that we have going on right now. I decided that I wanted to actually move everything out, so it's not in the form of sort of wrong view or anything. So we decided to go out one, and then the other thing we go out from. But I'm going to start by flying over there, and I haven't gotten everything finished. Like you can see, we have a lot of more narrow path up above here. And before we go there, I'm going to need to remove that sound, because it's going to sound a lot out here. It is a simple Enderman collector up here. We have an Endermite that collects every Enderman, and as you can see, as soon as I get close by, they are dying, and they are dying pretty good. What we are going to do out here is getting skulks, and of course this is not my own design. I have not this sort of capacity to make even the stone generators out here. So what you are seeing here is a design by Raceworks. I'm going to, of course, as usual, link his video down in the description if you want to follow along on his tutorial. But what we have going on here is that we have stone generators on both sides, and then we have a sculk block over there that sends out bubbles that turns these blocks into sculk blocks, and then we can farm those. And I have a bit of a bad way of getting there right now, because I'm using ender pearls going around here and then going down on the other side, because I didn't know what this actually what side this was going to be on. I thought that the site where we could get on the contraption would be on the other side, but I turn it around. I'm going to make some sort of pathway later on. And how this works is that we are going to use a hoe, and we can use it for a lot of things. I'm going to take a little bit way here so we can hear what's going on. What we're using is that I want the sculpt block, so I'm using a regular Silk Touch hoe here, but if you want the XP, for example, or something else, you can also use a regular hoe without the Silk Touch. We can also get the Sculk Shriekers and everything from this farm, but I'm mostly using it to get Sculk Veins and also get the sculpt blocks. And what happens is that we have a honey block going back and forth, we have Hopper Minecarts that goes around here, and of course the stone generators that moves everything in once I remove stuff. So when I'm standing here, and then we just push everything here and we wait until it goes a little bit further, and just, yeah, very simple. If you want to use it for the Sculk other stuff, you can also move everything up a little bit, and then you get Shriekers and all of the other stuff here. But yeah, it's a very useful farm. And we got a little bit from that, and that's what I've been using. I'm going to need a lot of Sculk, and yeah, that's not much else to say about this, since it's not my own design and I have done that a lot of times. Okay. So back to here. So when I made this, I thought that it would produce a lot more Sculk Veins than it has. It has produced a lot of it, but I wanted to have one more farm to actually make the Sculk Veins only, because it produces mostly Sculk blocks instead. So that's why we have this third thing out here that's only making Sculk Veins. And I saw all sorts of different designs, not a lot of farms out there actually, but the ones I saw I got intrigued by, so I decided to go for a little bit of this design. We have the same sort of tube and the same upper part there, but then we have a little bit of an easier way to actually remove the veins and everything, and also I have a lot of blocks here to stop the veins from actually spreading around. So what happens here is that we have the same thing. We have a lot of Endermen spawning in and dying on a dripstone point over there. We have a Sculk Catalyst that sends out signals, and since none of these blocks actually can be converted, it needs to be natural blocks like stone or diorite or anything like that. We can only make Sculk Veins around here. Then I'm just going to go inside of here, and here I use my netherite hoe once more, and you can stand here and we get a lot of the nether, or not the nether, the Sculk Veins. And just by that short amount of time, I've gotten to around two stacks and a little bit more. So this is very, very efficient, and I really love this farm because I love really efficient farms, as you probably know by this time if you have watched a lot of my episodes. Yeah, this is what I've been doing behind camera right now, and these two farms are really good, and I'm going to use a lot of them since, as I said, I'm going to use a lot of these two blocks in my design for the Ender Hub. Now we're going to go back to the Wither Skeleton farm, and I think I made some progress over there. Hello you guys, and welcome over to the Wither Skeleton farm in the making. I have started out with the platform as you saw in the time lapse, and I've also started by putting down some stone walls here. We also have the middle part, and we are right by our middle here where we need to push in an iron golem. And I'm just going to go out and check for if I have any enemies around that could potentially destroy everything that I am working on here. But it seems to be working, so I'm just going to put this here and make our island golem, and then we're going to push him inside of here and close off this place. So he's just going to stand there on some chests, then there, and some walls. There, we are finished with that part of the farm. And I'm just going to have to take away the lead. I don't know why the tutorial showed me to lead the guy, but yeah, probably for some reason, maybe. Okay, so we are here, and you guys are probably wondering what is happening and how this farm is going to work. And yeah, I'm going to of course explain it a little bit more when I have built it up. It's just in the starting pit of everything here. But to begin with, this of course is not my own design. It's I'm way too noob at how mechanics works inside of the Nether with all of the wither skeletons and everything. The one thing I know is that they are taller than regular mobs, so you can make advantage of that. But yeah, back to this. So this farm is made by a guy that's named IanX04, and I'm on fire. I need to drink my fire resistance. I have a lot of those with me. Okay, so back. IanX04 is the guy that I'm following the tutorial of, and of course I'm going to send or put his video down in the description as well. So you guys, if you want to build this yourself, you can follow along. I think it's a very, very good farm actually, because the one thing it has that is not the same as usual farm. Usually when you make wither skeleton farms, you have to sort of dig out the whole area, or either button it or put pressure plates or something that makes everything around here non-spawnable. And that's a really bad thing to do because it takes a lot of time, and I have done that before, as you probably see on the screen right now, because I decided to actually go into my old world and show you guys what I did. I did take away all of the 128 blocks in each direction of my farm and made it very efficient in that way, but it was a hassle and it took a lot of time, and I mean a lot of time. I think if I remember correctly, it took around a couple of months at least for me, and that was with me going at it each and every day while I have been away, or when I wasn't at work and everything and I had my spare time. So I decided that after that I was never going to do that one more. If I did, I would use Minecraft modding tools and everything to make that work instead. So therefore I decided when I found this farm that this was the one I was after, because we are not actually going to need to spawn proof this much, mostly because we are in the right biome, but also because we are going to have an AFK spot right above and high above us, and it's only going to spawn stuff on this platform and not much else around it, because other stuff is going to despawn. For example, that's why we have the turtle eggs, because it's going to be outside of 128 perimeter of the player, and therefore when we have our zombie piglins here that we're going to get rid of, they are going to actually despawn because they are going to be outside of that 128 sphere that's around the player and allows mobs to be mobile and spawn inside of. So I'm going to continue on here with the tutorial, and we'll get an update once I've gotten to a different part in the farm. Okay guys, here we are a couple of hours later, and as usual I accidentally finished the farm instead of actually making a sort of break and getting you up on the process. So we're going to have to explain it right now afterwards instead. I have yet to actually try it out, because once you have tried it out it's a little bit hard to actually go back and forth and in between the different parts of the farm, so I decided that I was going to wait. So I explain it to you guys first, and then we're going to show and see if I have actually built this right. But I think it does, because it looks like the one in the tutorial, so I hope it does. To begin with, we are above the nether roof, as you can see, and yeah, I'm testing out a resource pack that changes out bedrock for a different texture. You can find it on Vanilla Tweaks if you want to check it out yourself. I'm going to link the site in the video description if you want to find that out for yourself. I'm just going to try it out right now and see if I like it or not. Otherwise, I'm going to go back to the old bedrock. But yeah, while we are here, we're going to start by actually going down and go into where our spawning platform is. And what happens down here is what you have probably already seen a little bit of. As I've explained, this is our spawning platform. Right now we are just a couple of blocks too high for anything to spawn down here. So that's why we don't get any mobs down here right now. What happens is that we have all of these pillars here above and everything, and it's to prevent, I think it's ghasts and magma cube spawns or something like that. Some of them are there for that reason. We have an iron golem here in the middle, as I showed you guys last clip, and he's a little bit hindered by the repeaters here, because those are to prevent skeletons from actually seeing this guy. The wither skeletons are just a bit too high to actually see this guy and get the eyesight of him, so they are going to want to go towards him. And when they do, they are going to go into the portal here, because that's the closest side we have for them to go out, so they want to go in here. When that happens, they are going to go up and happen above the portals that you have above here. And when that happens, they are going to move, of course, to the overworld, and I could have just pressed that from the beginning. And I'm just going to show you guys what's happened when we do that. So I'm going to go through here and show you how it looks on the other side first, and we'll see how this works. Yes, nicely, good. Okay, so it's nighttime, but that doesn't matter, because what happens here is that we have two portals over here, where one of them is a little bit higher than the rest, and I'm just waiting for the world to load in, because it takes a little while. We are a couple of, I think it's tens of thousands blocks out from the middle of our world, so it takes a lot of time for my computer to actually process this area. But yeah, to begin with, the wither skeletons are going to come towards this, and they are going to push each other, because it is a little bit of a delay between when a mob can go through a portal. So that's why we have cobwebs here and everything, and they are going to push each other in the force from this place into that portal over there, or if it's, I think, yeah, it's from that portal to that portal. And when that happens, we are, of course, going to go to the other side and kill them, because we are going to show what that happens there. And yeah, I'm just going to try and go out and go inside of here. And that's what happened on the overworld side, so you guys get to know what happens over there. And right now, my game is not really loading that great, so we need to open here, go out here, and hopefully yeah, my Minecraft world doesn't like this at all. It's very, very stuttery and very, very going. Okay, please, can the game work? I don't know how much it shows on camera, but yeah, it's very, very framey right now. Can even pick up this and we'll see. Yeah, I'm down on 12 FPS or something, and I usually am going down to 9, 15. Yeah, I'm usually around 70 or 80 FPS, so this is not good. I need to check that out again, see what I've done wrong in this so it doesn't do that. But yeah, maybe I have to try and reload the game. So we're back. The game was a little bit stubborn on me, so I decided to reload the game and everything, and it looks like it's working right now. And I hope that it's going to work, because we're going to go down now and go and stand over here, where we're going to be able to kill our withers or wither skeletons. And I hope now that this is going to work. I'm going to go and check with my camera account while we wait for the wither skeletons to actually fill everything up. But as you can see over here, that we have withers spawning in the dozens even, and a lot of it, and then we're going to have something else. But I also see that we have something wrong here. I have made something wrong, because some of these mobs are going to despawn instead, and they are not, so I have to check that out. But the wither skeletons are spawning, and that's what we're after, so I'm going to have to wait for a couple of minutes here maybe, so it fills up, because we need the wither skeletons to actually fill up the platform that you saw over in the overworld, pretty much everything before they actually start to come through here. But once they are going to be here a lot, and they are also going to work very, very nicely here, and I hope it is going to work at least. Otherwise I have to try and make it into something else, or try and find out what's wrong, because something is wrong down there. And here we are, we have our first wither skeletons, and we're going to of course try and kill them, and we'll see how it goes. I have a looting 3 on my sword, and like the guy in the tutorial said, that if we want to make this much better, we can fill up the inventory with stuff that we want to have, and then just ignore everything else. So for example, I don't want to pick up all of the stone swords, because those are just going to get destroyed. But yeah, there we have it. And I thought the head was on the way there, but no, maybe it was some coal, because those can sometimes look very similar. But here we have a couple of wither skeletons coming in each and every time, and it's just standing here hitting. And of course, if you want to, you can make it a little bit better by having auto clicker or something like that if you want to. I'm just going to stand here and actually stand for a couple of bits, because for each wither we're going to need 3 heads, and for each wither star we're going to need a couple of beacons. So I'm going to need to stand here for a very, very long time actually before we actually get anything, but it's easy. That's what we're after. This is really easy, and I need to just check out what's happening down there in the spawning area, because that's not completely what it should look like, so I have to sort of debug it a little bit, but it's working, and that's the nice part about this. So with that, we're going to turn over to you guys, and I'm going to look there so I don't not that close. I hope that you have enjoyed this episode. We did the Skulk farms, both of them, a little bit explaining those, and we did with the skeleton skull farms, which are I think one of the hardest things you can make in Minecraft. Almost, there are more stuff to make, and you can make it harder. But it is not that easy to get this in such big amounts. And like I said, if you enjoyed it, maybe leave a like, a subscribe, maybe even a comment, so I know that you have watched it and what you liked about it. We'll see each other in the next episode. Goodbye.